Aloha ka kahiaka e nau haumana. Good morning, students. This is for my third graders, okay? And this is for the week of April the 5th to the 9th, alrighty? So, pehea o ko, how are you all? You folks answer, mai ka ino mahalo. Mai ka ino mako mahalo. That means you're all fine and thank you. So I hope you're feeling hau'oli, okay, happy, alrighty. So we were doing mukupuni, right? And the last island we did was Oahu. That's the island that we live on, and we did a little of the island of Kauai. Okay, let me show you Kauai. Okay, but before we continue or ho'omau with our lesson, let us do Hawaii pono'i. Okay, so everyone let us ku'iluna, let us stand up. Okay, are we ma kau kau? Hawaii pono'i nana I komoi kalani ali'i ke ali'i makua lani e kameha meha e na kawa e pale me ka ihe makua lani e kameha meha e na kawa e pale me ka ihe. Mai kai noho I lalo. Everyone can sit down now. Okay, so we're continuing on, alrighty, with the island of Kauai. So we did this last time, right? Kauai, okay. Waiho'olu'u, the color is purple or pony, okay. So that's what you folks all need to write on your packet. The island of Kauai is pony or purple, okay. Purple, pony. Alrighty, and the nickname is the Garden Isle. Why? It's very green, always raining over there. Beautiful, okay. And the pua, Kumu say pua was a flower because each island has a flower, right? So, this is it. It's the mokihana, it's the berries I told you. Okay, so this is how the berries look like. All right, beads, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read you folks a mo'olelo. Okay, a story, already, and this takes place on the island of Kauai. And later, I want to show you folks some photos. See how beautiful the island of Kauai is. Alrighty. Okay. This mo'olelo, or this story, is Kauai's Menehune Ditch. Okay. Ola was the king of Kauai. He was a good, wise king and well loved by his people. Kauai was a happy island under his rule, rich in good fertile soil, with towering cliffs, waterfalls, and lovely white beaches. However, on the west side of the island, in Waimea Valley, it was dry. The rain fell so seldom that the crops could not grow, and the people who lived there could barely raise enough food. One day, when Ola was visiting Waimea, he got an idea and said to Kapua, one of his wise men, bring water down from the mountain springs. Then the farmers can irrigate the fields and we will have good crops all year round. For the weather on Kauai, like in all Hawaiian Island, is warm and pleasant even in the winter. Kapua thought this is a wonderful idea and suggested that the king ask his engineers if such a thing could be done. The engineers went out and studied the land and the mountain springs. They suggested one thing after another, but nothing worked. The king was so disappointed he couldn't eat or sleep. He sat in his beautiful garden and would not be consoled. One day, as he was sitting there, a curious-looking dwarf appeared before him. He seemed to come from nowhere. The king was astonished. "What's this?" he thought in surprise. "I have never seen such a little creature before." The small man wore a sparkling crown upon his head and on his back a splendid feather cloak. The dwarf spoke first. "I am the king of Menehune," he said, simply and with great dignity. The Menehune gasped. King Ola, "How wonderful!" King Ola knew that the Menehunes were dwarf-like people with strange magic powers. He had heard they worked only at night, and no matter how big the job, it was finished in the morning. He looked at the Menehune with great hope and was delighted to hear him say, "For a long time, I have been watching you, King Ola, as you and your men try to bring water to this valley. Would you like my Menehunes to do it for you? We know how." King Ola's eyes alone shone brightly. He leaned forward and held out his hand. "If only you can, and I will pay you anything you ask." The king of Menehune smiled and said kindly, "We have 2 promises we want you to make before we will build you a ditch into which the mountain springs will flow and from which you can bring water to your land." "Name them, only name them," cried the excited king of Kauai. "First, your people in this valley must be absolutely quiet all evening and all night. The children must not cry, the dog must be muzzled, and the chickens must be quiet in their hen houses. All your people must stay inside their houses. We must have quiet, and we must not be watched while at work," said the Menehune king. "The second promise," continued the king, "is even more important than the first. 6 months from tomorrow, you must give 1 fish to each and every one of my men, including myself. If you can do that, the ditch we built for you will work well, and the Waimea Valley will become a fertile spot." "What strange conditions," thought the Kauai king. "But if that's what he wants, that's what he'll get." "It shall be done," he shouted, jumping to his feet. As the dwarf vanished, the king hurriedly summoned members of his court and explained the 2 conditions laid down by the king of the Menehunes. With great speed, messengers were sent to every house explaining how the people must stay in their homes, muzzle their dogs, and keep the chickens quiet. The excitement grew as all the valley heard the news. Although there was absolute quiet in Waimea that evening, there was not much sleep. And in the morning, the king and his court and all the people rushed to the foot of the mountains. There in front of them, filled with clear, cool water from the mountain stream, was a long, long ditch made as though by the greatest engineers in the world. And the people gave a shout of rejoicing, and for the first time in months, the king laughed out loud. And now to catch the fish to meet the Menehune king's second promise, he thought. The most plentiful fish in the kingdom were called moi. Dried, they were delicious. At first the king thought he would serve one moi to each Menehune, but his magician, P, said, "Oh, great king, Ola, you should be careful. The last promise may be more difficult to fulfill than you think. The Menehune king is sure to have more men than there are moi in the whole sea." "What shall we do?" cried the king in despair. "There is no other fish so plentiful." "Why don't you catch shrimp?" P suggested to the king. "Shrimp are fish. They are easy to catch. One shrimp each Menehune will pay the bill." "Oh, great, P!" cried the king excitedly. "You are a clever man. We shall save our dish after all." The king called out to his men, told them about the second promise, and the men set to work at once. They fished from early morning to late at night. They even fished by night with torches. Even the boys and some women fished. The people grew tired, but still they kept on. For weeks and months they fished. Basket after basket, heaped to the brim and hauled away to the meeting place. Every basket and every container was filled with shrimp. Millions and millions of shrimp were caught, then millions and millions more. It didn't seem possible that so many shrimp existed. All too soon the time was up, and the Menehune king appeared at the appointed day at sunrise. King Ola awaited him, and together they began to hand one shrimp to each Menehune. All day long the little men filed by, each taking his shrimp with a pleasant little bow. King Ola thought the endless lines of Menehunes, which had stretched farther than he could see, would never end, but it did. Just as the sun began to sink into the ocean, the last Menehune received his pay. King Ola was exhausted. He looked down into his basket and found just 2 shrimp. Those were all that were left. He picked up the 2 shrimp and said, "Oh, Menehune king, just 2 shrimps are left. Take this one and I will keep the other. We have fulfilled our bargain." The Menehune king smiled. "Indeed you have, and now the dish is yours. You and your court have great imagination and resourcefulness, and the island of Kauai will prosper under your rule." With that, he vanished before King Ola's eyes. The island of Kauai has prospered, and if you ever visit it, you will be shown the famous Menehune ditch and the hill upon which the 2 kings met. It is called Pu'uopai, the mountain of shrimp. Opai in Hawaiian means shrimp. Pu'u is the hill, okay? So, let me take you to this map. I'll show you here, okay? Just a little here. You folks can see the map? Okay, so down here, okay, you can see that? Oh, I calamai. Okay, right here, where Kumu's pointing, okay, is the Menehune Ditch or Kikiola, okay? Unusual construction of unknown origin. Legend was it that the Menehune built the ditch for the High Chief Ola of Waimea and paid them with shrimp. Okay, you folks can see that? Oh, calamari. Okay. Righty. That's the Menehune shrimp. Right here. That's the ditch. Okay. All right, my ka'i. Okay, and I told you folks I was going to show you beautiful pictures of the island of Kauai. Okay. This right here is a spouting horn in Poipu. Okay. I tell you, this island is very beautiful. Okay. This is Poipu. Alrighty. This is a view of the Waialua Falls. Let's see, falls it. Okay, let's see this one. Lumihai Beach. Kalamai is Lumihai Beach. This is the wet cave at Hawaiiana. This here is Hanalei Valley on Kauai. Can you folks see that? Okay. Wailua Falls. Beautiful, yeah? Wailua Falls. There's also Wailua on the island. Well, we have Wailua over here, and there's also Wailua on the island of on the big island. Okay. Let me see, what is this? This is not Napali Coast. Okay. This is the beach, Hanalei on Kauai. They named it Bali High. They filmed a show. And in that movie, this was called Bali High. Okay, this is Kilauea Lighthouse. Okay, and it's been renamed, okay, to Daniel K. Inouye Lighthouse. Just like how your school. Yes. This here is Kalalau Valley. Long ago, I hiked up with my friends. Let's see. It's kind of shiny. I can hardly see. On the Kalalau Trail. Yeah. This here is Napali Cliffs. It's the sunset on Kauai. Let me go see that. guess that's it. Okay. Alrighty, so we're all done with the island of Kauai. Okay. And let me show you, because it's called the Garden Island. Okay, the Garden Isle. Why? Because it's very green. If you notice. Yeah. Beautiful waterfalls. Okay. Look at this. Okay. Look at the valleys. Very beautiful. You can see the waterfall. Okay. And like I said, we're going to do, after Kauai, we do the Hawaiian state mammal, right? Okay, so I know I read this to you folks already. Okay, and the next one is the island of Molokai. Okay, now let me move this map out of the way. Okay, so. Okay, here we go. Next island, or Mokupuni, is the island of Molokai. Okay? Molokai, right here. Okay, we're done with the island of Kauai. I hope you folks had finished writing in all your names of the island, the Waiho'olu'u, the Pua, and the nickname, yeah? Okay, next one. Molokai. Okay. So you're going to write M-O-L-O-K-A-I, just like we have here on the map. Let me just switch a little. Okay. M-O-L-O-K-A, Okina-I. Okay. People from Molokai, they pronounce it as Molokai. Okay. But people that's not from Molokai pronounce it as Molokai. Okay. As you can see, the color is o-ma-o-ma-o. The color is green, so I want everyone to write down o-ma-o-ma-o. That will be the Okina-o. M-e Okina-o. M-e Okina-o. O-ma-o-ma-o. Okay, let's see. Okay. O-ma-o-ma-o. The pua, ready, is the kukui, the tree. Okay. Now, from that tree, we have the kukui nut. Okay. And from this nut, we have the kukui lei. Okay. And the nickname is the Friendly Isle. Alrighty. Okay, a little something about the kukui. Okay. Green is Molokai's color, and the white kukui flower, its blossom. Okay, you can see that? My cut. Clusters of kukui flowers resemble bunches of lilacs grow on an old, useful, beloved Hawaiian tree. Kukui flowers, nuts, and bark once were used as medicine for conditions ranging from exhaustion to ulcers. Yeah, they were used for medicine. Okay? According to the legend, they also were used as spin tops by many hunis. Okay? Got that? Oops. Okay. The kukui appears often in Hawaiian literature, and one proverb is, "The gum sticks to the candle nut tree," meaning the child clings to his mother. Okay? The pretty white flowers are interwoven with silvery green kukui leaves to form a large open-ended lei. So like a maili lei, you use it, you don't tie it, okay? You can do it same with the kukui nut lei, okay? Alrighty, so we're going to go into kukui nut, okay, the plant, the namea kanu. Alrighty, so I have here a picture of the kukui nut. Okay, you folks can see that? Okay. So, I like to continue with Molokai because, here. Kumu is from Molokai, okay, born and raised there, okay. So I like to share a little things with you about the island, okay. And there's a song that I wrote about the Kukui Nut Tree, and I'm going to go over that with you folks the next time Kumu videos or record this, okay? So a little something about the state tree, okay? The seeds of the kukui or the candle nut tree were brought to Hawaii long ago by the Polynesians, okay? The kukui grows in low mountain areas, so on Schofield, there's lots of kukui nut tree. We have one where our po'o, okay, our principal and our staff parks, okay, there's the kukui nut tree over there, one kukui nut tree, okay. It is pale green leaves and small white flowers arranged in clusters, okay, like how I was showing you. Like that. The nut has an oily white kernel and a hard black shell. The oil from the nut was used by early Hawaiians for candles, dye and lamp oil, and for polishing calabash or ipu. Okay, let me see. Ipu. Okay? Now we can use this as a Hawaiian instrument. Okay? It also was used for medicine, and the nut was polished and strung for leis. Okay? So boys and girls, we're going to stop right here. We're going to continue next week with more of Molokai, and I'd like to share some things with you. And the Kukui Nut Tree, okay? So, it's ahuiho time. Until we meet again, malama pono. Okay, and we'll also continue with the rest of the mokopuni. Okay. Kawi ma kau kau, ahui ho, malama pono, ahui ho, malama pono, ahui ho, ene, ahui ho, ene, malama pono, ene, reach out and high five someone in need, make them laugh, that's what they need. Keep a smile upon your face, spread aloha all over the place. Ahui ho, we gotta go. Catch you later, see you again. Aloha oi till then, my friend. Catch you later, see you again. Aloha oi till then, my friend. Ahui ho, until we meet again. Malama pono, take care. Everyone say aloha. Mahalo. Boys and girls, please be safe and always keep smiling. Mino aka. Everyone say mino aka. Aloha.